name's Elizabeth. I'm also known as the Shrinking Snake Lady. And I got my body fat tested at Dexa Body today. So I'm going to share with you my experience.
She is over here at Dexa Body in Holiday, Utah. She is positioned now on the Dexa Body Composition Analysis Test Machine that is manufactured by General Electric. Right now, the Dexa machine is scanning her entire body. It's measuring her weight, her muscle, her pounds of fat, where her body's situated at, where she's holding her muscle, where she's holding her fat. This is scan number 3, Elizabeth, or 2?
2.
Scan number 2. So she was last here in December, right before Christmas. Right now we're here almost the end of March doing a follow-up test. So the cool thing about this test, just so everyone's aware, the DEXA scan is the most accurate and most detailed way to measure the body. That's why Elizabeth is here at Dexa Body, because she wants the best and most accurate way to measure. The scale's a big fat liar. Would you agree with that, Elizabeth?
Yes, I do.
The problem with the scale, as Elizabeth knows, it doesn't measure as you put on muscle and as you drop fat. Sometimes the scale doesn't move a lot because muscle is denser than fat. It weighs a little bit more, so as you put on 5 pounds of muscle and drop 5 pounds of fat, the scale may not even be moving. However, your body is changing, your body composition is changing, and most importantly, your health is improving and your clothes are fitting better. But if we're only using the scale to measure the body, it doesn't tell the whole picture. So this machine that Elizabeth's on was originally created by General Electric just to measure the bone density. It uses X-ray imaging to measure the body. Working with companies like us, General Electric decided there was a better way to measure the body using the X-ray imaging. And so they worked with companies like Dexa Body to measure everything else, use the X-ray technology and the capability of the machine to get the best, most accurate way to track changes in the body. So, Elizabeth, anything you'd like to add in regards to your journey or any questions you have?
How does somebody find a place to go get it tested at?
So perfect, great question, Elizabeth. The problem with DEXA scans in the past is it was very expensive and very hard to find, and typically in the past was only available to be done at hospitals. So people in Utah, where we're located at, we have multiple offices. We have a mobile testing unit in Utah that goes all across the state. You can look us up, Dexa, DEXA body.com, or contact our office, 801-274-3392. For those of you that are out of Utah, Dexa Body does have a location back east as well in Georgia that could cover the southeast. If you're not in the southeast or the west, you could look up Dexa Body Composition Analysis Testing and find a provider near you that could do the same test on you. So great question, Elizabeth. So we're back here with Elizabeth going over her results and her data now. This is the most exciting part. So the cool thing is, Elizabeth, we were joking before we hit record, we are actually 3 months to the date between your first scan and your last scan. And so the cool thing is we're going to track your body fat percentage so you can see the changes. So when we tested you right before Christmas, we already got Elizabeth's permission to say this out loud, so just be aware of that. She was 48.9% body fat today. 3 months later, she is down to 45.1. So she has lost 3.8% in 3 months. So it's a great steady pace. The cool thing is her weight back in December was 202. Now today it's 187. So over a short 3 period of months, Elizabeth has went from 96.38 pounds of fat down to 82.3. So she has lost 14 pounds of fat in 3 months, which is amazing. So great job, Elizabeth. The cool part is she was been able to maintain her muscle mass almost identical to where it was when we first started. The problem with a lot of people when they're losing significant weight like this, they lose some muscle mass as well. But Elizabeth was able to maintain her 100 pounds of muscle. She just barely went down 0.3 pounds of muscle, which is nothing at all. So that's the best part of Elizabeth's test results. She's done really, really well and maintained the muscle mass as she's significantly dropped fat. So this image here of the body represents a snapshot of Elizabeth's body. So where we see the red on the body, that's a higher concentration of muscle or a lower concentration of fat. Where we get into the greens and some of the oranges, that is where her body is currently holding fat. So what's cool as we continue to test, we could compare the images from last time, Elizabeth, and you'll see less greens and more concentration of muscle and less fat than last time. So everyone has a goal based upon their personality and their age. Males versus females need to have different body fat. You, Elizabeth, has an opportunity to have kids. You have a slower metabolism. As a result, there's a thing called essential fat. Most people don't realize that everyone's body is never going to get rid of all their fat. So Elizabeth, as a female, you need 10 to 13% of your body fat is essential fat that's never going away. So too many people now are using BS measurements to measure body fat, and we see girls and guys all the time saying they're 3, 4, 5, 6, 10% body fat, but the reality is they're just measuring on bad stuff that isn't accurate. So everyone that we test know going in that you're never ever going to get rid of all your fat, and you do need some healthy essential fat. So the goal as a female in Elizabeth category for her age group is to get her body fat between 28 to 32%, which is the normal healthy range for her age group. So she's making great progress, already down significantly in a short period of time. So the thing that we want to emphasize, this takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a hard journey, as you could validate, right, Elizabeth? It's been hard for you. But we want to do it the right way because that's sustainable and we're trying to create a lifestyle. So that's the ultimate goal, and just get better every time we test and every time your followers test as well. We then take your body and divide it by every region: your arms, your legs, your trunk, which is the torso area, the android, which is the abdomen area, and then gynoid, which is the glutes and the hips and the butt area. We then track the body fat by that region. The same goal, we want to get those percentages to match the healthy averages and have those continue to trend down. We show what that section of the body weighs, pounds of fat in that region of the body, and pounds of muscle, as well as what the bones weigh in that region. So we're going to kind of track some of Elizabeth's changes momentarily, but just be aware we take the body and break it down in every region so we could study it and see where results are. From there, we do a metabolic reading. So eating is 80% of the battle, as you know, right, Elizabeth? You can't outwork a bad diet, and we want to make sure we're giving our body what it needs. If we don't eat enough, our body starts holding on to fat cells and kind of going into starvation, hibernation mode. So your body, Elizabeth, we have another metabolism test that Elizabeth did a few months ago to get most accurate data here. So the Dexa does an assumption, so it's assuming your body's burning 1,700 calories doing nothing. We did some more concrete testing on Elizabeth to nail that down a little bit more and do some nutrition planning with her nutrition coach. So just be aware, we got to make sure we at least eat enough and cover what our body needs. If we undereat, we actually store fat cells and get fatter and lose muscle mass. So it's not just a matter of stop eating and you're going to lose weight. You got to cover what your body needs. So just be aware of that for you and your followers. This is the strength of your muscles and your bones. So as a female, your skeletal system, of course, is very important. We want to make sure you're aging right, not having bone density issues. So here we're able to see that your Elizabeth is aging perfectly. We want this ratio higher than 5'4". Hers comes in at 7'3", so that's exciting. She's doing great there. We then take the body and break down the belly and the glutes again. The belly has a type of fat called visceral fat, or your bad fat against the organs. A goal we talked about with Elizabeth last time is to try to get this number less than her body fat. So she's body fat percentage, so she's making some great progress there. And if we have too much of that bad fat against the organs, it leads to diabetes, heart disease, really bad stuff. So that's an important area to focus on. Glutes, you're doing well. We want this ratio less than 1:0 for optimal fat. She's almost there now. We then track the percentage of muscle in your key areas, the trunk, the legs, and the arms, and track your muscle gain changes and gains. So we'll go in more details of that momentarily. We do a muscle balance report, muscle symmetry, where we're able to see the right arm versus the left arm. Everyone's right arm that's right-handed, of course, is a little bit stronger than the left, like yours is, Elizabeth. And then traditionally the legs are the same way as well. Your right leg weighs more. Right has a little bit more muscle than the left, being the dominant leg as well. So we could track that. Sometimes injuries come into play that we need to correct some muscle imbalances, and can track all that data there for you. We then do a bone density component. Like we talked about, the machine was originally created for bone density, so we want to make sure the bones are nice and healthy. So Elizabeth, this is an actual skeletal x-ray of all of her bones. Darker the color, the stronger the bones are. We then track data. So Elizabeth is pretty young, so of course her bone density is well. This number here, the T-score 0, recognizes if there's any bone density, so she has a 0 score. We want for normal healthy bones to have this score higher than -1, which Elizabeth is because she has a 0 score. Now, we then compare her bones against other ladies her age, so we do want to see that number in a perfect world to be 0 or higher. So Elizabeth, as you continue to put on muscle mass, and the thing about bone density is your bones can get stronger as your body gets stronger as well. So we do want that number to go up a little bit, and we'll track that for you as well. So. And then my favorite part of all this report is changes. So this is where we're able to see specifically how Elizabeth has done over the last 3 months. So these 2 pages track the fat by every region of the body. So, and the interesting thing is we track changes. There may be some areas like the arms here where we got to tweak some stuff. So in Elizabeth's arms, she actually gained a tiny bit in fat in her arms. Everyone's arms and legs kind of hold fat differently. So she gained a little bit of fat there, 0.31. So we'll want to try to identify what you're doing on your workout protocol and maybe make some adjustments here and just maybe dial that in. The legs, she lost significant fat. She went from 28.9 to 25, so she's down 3.79 pounds of fat in 3 months. So she's down 4% there. The exciting part is her trunk, which she said is always her challenging spot. She has lost over 10 pounds of fat in 3 months. So that's amazing, Elizabeth. So congratulations. Went from 58 pounds of fat down to 47. She went from 51% fat in the trunk down to 47%. So very, very significant change there. And then we talked about the belly fat. That's very important to lose as much as that. So Elizabeth went from 9.8 pounds of belly fat down to 7.6. She lost 2.38 pounds of belly fat and lost 4% of her belly fat in 3 months. So that's very, very important, and congratulations there, Elizabeth. And then her glutes. The glutes are always hard for ladies to lose fat, as you could attest, Elizabeth. That's the hard spot, especially as you're having kiddos. So you lost 0.28 pounds there. That's the hardest spot to lose fat for a female, so congratulations there. And then overall in 3 months, Elizabeth, like we talked earlier, went from 96 pounds of fat down to 82. So she's lost 14 pounds of fat in 3 months, so that's amazing. We do have some models in some mobile testing unit that has a 5-pound fat model, and it's a disgusting blob. And so you've lost almost 3 of those. I mean, they're literally could take up a quarter of this table. So that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then we're able to track muscle gain. So like we talked about, the key is to build muscle in a perfect world. So she definitely gained muscle in her arms. She went from 7.5 pounds of muscle to 8.6. So she put on 1.1 pounds of muscle in the arms, which is great. Legs followed the same trend, went from 32 to 34. So put on just over a pound there as well. She was 32.9 and went to 34.1. So that's awesome. And then the trunk, because she lost so much fat here, there are going to be ebbs and flows of periods of where you lose a little bit of muscle with fat loss as well. So she did lose a couple of pounds of muscle here, but considering you lost 10 pounds of fat, in the trunk alone, it's okay to lose a little bit of muscle, because then you'll get it back here over the next test probably. And you did lose a little bit in the belly of muscle as well, like we talked about. The belly is part of the trunk. You lost a tiny bit in the glutes, but overall you were able to keep your muscle very, very consistent, which is the important thing. You want to drop fat and keep your muscle growing in the key areas like your legs and your arms, and hopefully, whoops, sorry about that, Elizabeth. And then hopefully continue to build muscle across the body. So you can.